gonna show you a little more about through. We're gonna drive through town. Are you okay? So how does it work? Like this? Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but our red lights are heart-shaped. Have you seen it? Sorry. Did you get it?
Red light.
Oh, it's probably too far in the back.
Red light.
And it's a theme that started 2005. It's a town festival theme, Smile with Your Heart. And it kind of stuck to town. And now all the red lights have heart-shaped lights. It's only the red one. And in the center, in the main shopping street, there's a heart-shaped sculpture underneath the big church in town. And you can take a photo if you want to stop in town on our way back. It takes 10 minutes to walk, from the center to your cruise ship. So we will just talk about that when we come back. And I saw there is a baker in our street where we have our office, and he actually gave us a few bags of kleina, a local, it's a twisted donut. It is an Icelandic pastry, and I'm gonna give it to you at Goðafoss to taste. I just didn't know what this why he threw these bags in the bus. It's we're gonna test it when we stop at Goðafoss. It's something the other day. Well, my daughter, I have a teenage daughter, and she was saving money for trips abroad, painting and boxing, and we actually made 400 kleina in my kitchen. It's crazy work. So here on the right we see the shopping center in town. Well, it's not a big one, but it has a supermarket, it has clothes shops, appliance shops, H&M even. And as I told you, Akureyri is a hub for shopping and service, so people all the way from Iceland coming here. Now we stop on the red light again, or if you can see a glimpse of the red hearts here on each side. And where the shopping center is now used to be an industry area until, in the 1990s, all the wool industry collapsed with the ending of the Soviet Union. We had a lot of business to Eastern Europe. So that industry kind of collapsed, and service and tourism has grown. Are you reaching it? After Akureyri, where is your next stop? Does anyone remember? Grundarfjörður. Okay. And then Reykjavik, I guess. Okay, we got off with a little rough start on this tour. Thank you for your patience. I heard that you already told me that the weather was pretty bad in Seyðisfjörður, so this is probably just going to get better from now. Sports stadium here on the right. Soccer is a big sport in Iceland. Everybody loves soccer. Well, not me, but many. I'm more of an outdoor person. My mom used to be a very good soccer player. Well, we are hitting all the red lights, obviously. And And then we are back to the harbor area here on the left, our cultural conference house, this big circular building with basalt columns inspired by the canyon at Godafoss waterfall, our next stop. City center here on the right. And we will see the church on top of the hill behind the trees soon. And I don't know if you've heard, but there are supposed to be steps, 112 steps leading up to the church. But they are actually being rebuilt. So they were all shattered last summer, and now they are actually building them again. They were just ruins. It's a very good cardio exercise, I can tell you. So if you look on your right, you will see this heart-shaped sculpture at the end of the streets. Yeah. These buildings here on the right are brand new. It's both apartments and hotels. It's all rebuilding. I have a question. If most of our tourists are from cruise ships or coming differently. Well, in summer we have 200 cruise ships coming to Akureyri harbor. So, and there's been a tradition for over 40 years for cruise ships coming to Akureyri. But we have a mix of tourism all year round actually. So many group tours, rental cars going the whole circle. As maybe you've already, some of you might have done already. I don't know. Has any of you been to Iceland before? Yes, some says yes.
Yes.
Most no. It's very popular to take, well, rent a car or take a room tour and go the whole circle in 10, 14 days. Here on the right we see the oldest part of town where the town was built up, and we are going to take a left turn out of town here. And the shoreline used to come all the way to the houses furthest here on the right. So this is all reclaimed land actually. And the road that we are crossing the fjord. We will have the harbor and cruise ships on the left, and then we have the airport on the right. Yes, this is a runway here, and it's both a domestic airport for flights to and from Reykjavik, and then also international flights now. And we have scheduled flights. There's a new thing from London and Manchester and EasyJet, and then Edelweiss flies Zurich, and there are several other projects going on. So Akureyri is a growing tourist town all year round, so people can now fly in, stay here, and that is actually a lot of progress for us for tourism development. And we see the river coming from the valley here on the right. It's freshwater river mixing with the ocean here on the left. So basically from here up to the open ocean is 60 kilometers. And I don't know, you were up, when did you come to town, to the harbor? 8 o'clock or something. Yeah, so maybe it was too early for some of you to watch the sailing, and it was a little low clouded this morning. So hopefully when you sail back you will have a little better view. And what we are going to do today, we're going to drive from here through the tunnels to go across the mountain, and then we come back and go into the valley. So we'll make 2 circles today. And here on the right is the forest lagoon. Here within the trees it's a bath or a spa that was opened here 2 years ago, and they're using a geothermal hot water that was unexpectedly found when they were drilling the tunnels that we are actually going through now in a couple of minutes or so. I'll tell you a little story. And when you look on your left, you see the town, and it grows uphill. We just saw a part of it, a bigger part than many tourists from cruise ships do get to see. And I want to point out, maybe you saw it already yesterday, but the Alaska lupine, the purple flower here on each side of the road, this is in mentioned here on the left. We are going to go straight through the tunnels. Akureyri, as I mentioned, service town, school town. We have the hospital, and we also have a ski area of town. The best known and best ski area in Iceland. So we have many local people coming from Reykjavik to ski. It's quite a lively town in winter as well. And we are entering the tunnels. They are 7 kilometers long. They were opened for public in end of December 2018. It's not the longest tunnels in Iceland. There are many in the West Fjords and many in similar length, but the reason for them being made is basically the pass to go across. It's still a road that we use, especially on a beautiful day like this, but in winter time the pass closes regularly due to snowstorm. And I will point towards it. We're actually not going to do the pass, but we will do a valley instead, beautiful valley, and I'm going to point towards the pass. And this shortens the distance, the driving distance across for about 15 minutes on a good day like this, but makes it possible to cross at all at bad days in winter. And then when they were drilling the tunnels, they actually started in 2011 or 12, so a very long project, and they accidentally hit a cold hot water main when they were drilling on this site. So it flooded with 40 to 60 degrees hot water here in the beginning, and while they were figuring out what to do about that, they started drilling a bit earlier on the other side, and they hit a cold water main, actually cutting some water for some of the farms even around, flooding everything with cold water on the other side. So it was a bit of a catastrophe, but eventually they found a way to bypass this, and now they have drained, well, they have bypassed the water on next to the opening of the tunnels on the side we entered, and there is a little waterfall flowing to the ocean. You can see it from a cruise ship. It's warm water. And I'm going to point it out when we get back, and I'm going to show you the water when we come through the other road back from Laufás. And what this is the idea, where the idea for the forest lagoon comes from, for the unexpected geothermal hot water just going to waste in the ocean, and now they use part of it for the forest lagoon. And we have a lot of geothermal hot water to be found underground in Iceland, and 90% of Icelandic homes is actually heated with geothermal hot water. Very, very convenient in a rough island like this. I got a question about an active volcano on the island, and there is one on the southwest part of Iceland, near Grindavík and the Blue Lagoon. And it's erupting now, and they have been a bit worried about the Blue Lagoon and the roads around the Blue Lagoon, trying to cool it off actually with the water, and they've built big fences from rocks just to try to avoid the lava flooding over infrastructure, valuable infrastructure. But it's going so and so. It's not going fast. It's very slow movement of the lava. But this is away from. So this is close to Grindavík, a village of 3,000 people. It's in the same peninsula as the Keflavík International Airport, but it's on the other side of the peninsula. So this is not harming any residential area, except of course a valuable Blue Lagoon and Grindavík. And this volcanic eruption has been turning on and off. Actually, This one since November last year, this particular area, but the volcanic activity in close area has been going on since March 21. So it's an on and off event, and they call it now the Reykjanes, that's peninsula, fires. So that means it is a continuous event, basically. And but not, of course it's been awful for people in Grindavik, but it is far from other residential areas. So main focus is now on trying to, well, protect buildings and roads. And we are almost out. Yeah, is the sun there as well? Woo!
Oh.
Yes. And sometimes we experience a total different weather system here on the other side of the mountain. Most often a better weather in summer, but in winter sometimes worse on this side than that. It depends. And this valley here, Fnjóskardalur, the river, Fnjóská, and we are actually going to follow this river when we come back to Goðafoss. We will be in Goðafoss in about 20 minutes max, 15 to 20 minutes. And then we need to drive a little bit back, and then we'll go into the valley following this river to Laufás, and then we will actually come back to the other side. On the other side of the river is a forest area called Vatnaskógur, and it's part of the organization of forestry, where they have protected birch forest. Birch is one of two native tree plants in Iceland. Rowan is the other one. But there is a roughly 100 years tradition to plant more trees, not just the native ones, to build up, as I mentioned earlier, vegetation, reclaim vegetation. And the birch, the native tree, it has, you'll see it up close, the larger trees just soon. They have thin trunks, small leaves, soft woods. They're not a good building material. But they live about 100 years. They get up max 3-4 years old, and they grow easily in the volcanic soil. But they also easily bend and break for snow and wind and weather. You can see them here, right? Thursday evening we had an orange warning for a snowstorm, and in June it's not so unusual to have maybe a half a day of some snow and sleet, maybe a day. But this was a full-blown snowstorm, and it lasted for up to three days. And it was very unfortunate. The main road across to the east to Lake Biva was closed for two days. And of course, everybody had already had their summer tires on. So it was full. It was when I came out on a Friday. 2 weeks now. It's 2.5 weeks when it started. When I was here on a Friday, and we came out of the tunnel, and there was still just a lot of snow just by the river and on lower land like this. It melted fast because we had very good weather the week after the last week, but still we can see the spot. This is fresh snow. Normally at this time of year, the lowest points in the mountains, like here, should be melted. Driving past farmlands here. There's a very good agricultural area in Akureyri by the fjord, and relatively good area here. Many farms around, dairy farming and sheep farming on the traditional way of farming. We will see sheep on the way when we get back from Godafoss. Well, we might see some by the road soon, but definitely in the back. Probably not dairy cows at this point, but most likely horses. The road here is a bit bumpy because what happens often, we have winter conditions. Here in winter it snows and freezes, and then when it dries, of course the ground's in May normally, but now in June as well because of the weather we had last week, and then it leaves a lot of, well, bumps and holes in the asphalt, and we need to use the summer to fix it, but that's the high season, so it is can be quite busy on the roads when they are fixing the roads after winter with all the traffic. This part is the worst part on these roads. About power lines, and the biggest ones are above ground. You can see some of the old ones here on the right, but the smaller ones within residential area, they are buried down. So mix actually of both, especially those who are new and have been well recently maintained. They are buried underground for a reason, because for example in 2012 there was a big snowstorm in Lake Biva area that is about half an hour drive from here, and what happens if it's wet snow and windy, it sticks to the power lines and then it swings it and breaks the holes just like toothpicks. So and that happened actually in December 2019 near Akureyri as well, leaving a fishing village outside of Akureyri powerless for 7 days. Yeah, and we just passed the school building here on the right. It's a farm school. You see it better when you come back. I was a bit too busy talking about electricity. I just want to point out that school in Iceland, everyone goes to public school between 6 and 16. And first grade to 10th grade, and it's taught together. In this farm school, children on the farms around are picked up in the morning, and they are driven to school, and then they are driven back in the afternoon. But just a few years back, when the roads were not as good as they are now, they had to stay over the week while they were in school. So there's an old dormitory there where they host a summer hotel still, Hotel Edda. And I want to tell you as well a little bit more about electricity. I told you 90% of Icelandic homes heated with geothermal hot water. Well, we make all our electricity with either hydro power stations or geothermal power stations. Majority hydro, where we use waterfalls and the water we have above ground. In the geothermal ones, we drill down 1,000 to 1,500 meters and dig for steam on high heat areas. And we are passing a lake called Ljósavatn, or Lake of the Light. The reason I have heard about the name Ljósavatn is here in winter it's very dark in November, December, January. First glimpse of winter sun is end of January, and this freezes, this lake freezes, it's shallow and freezes in January through March normally. And the reflection, first glimpse of sun for the farmers on the other side of the lake was the reflection from the ice, because they were still in the shadow when the first glimpse of sun came to the lake. Approximately, well, 5 more minutes to the waterfall. I'm going to tell you a short story of the name of the waterfall. Goðafoss, or waterfall of the gods. And this name is connected to conversion of the new settlement. Well, the Norwegian Vikings came here to farm the land in the 9th century, and most of them had the Old Norse religion, believing in Odin and Thor and Freya, the Marvel movie characters you might know. But King Olav of Norway at the year 1000, so well, few centuries after the settlement, was actually forcing Icelanders to become officially a Christian nation, like he was doing back home in Norway. And 70 years earlier, the new society in Iceland has established a parliament, Thingvellir National Park. Some of you might be going there from Reykjavik, Golden Circle. And the parliament event in Thingvellir at the year 1000 had this issue to deal with. And Þorgeir, a man who lived by the lake here, he was the chieftain of this area, wise man, he was in the parliament, and he was eventually asked to be a judge, to rule and just decide for this new society if we should obey King Olav and become Christian or not. Because, well, those who lived here, they really didn't want him to meddle with their issues here. I mean, some settlers who lived here were already, well, they were Christian, but everything was peaceful. And he went into his tent for 2 days to think this through. It was written in our sagas, our history books. Thought this carefully, and when he came out, he announced, I think, that Icelanders would officially become a Christian nation from the year 1000 and abandon the official, well, the Old Norse god, basically. And Iceland has had a state church for 1,000 years, roughly now. Lutheran state church now. And when he rode back from the parliament events, he had his wooden icons of Odin and Thor. So he came back home and he went to the waterfall and he threw the gods in the waterfall as a symbol, as a sign that we would abandon them officially. So that's where the name comes from, the waterfall of the gods. that there's in the waterfalls, Skjálfandafljót comes all the way from the valley here on the right. It's a relatively flat valley. We are just seeing towards it on the right, and it's a mix of a glacial river and the spring river. So when it's warming up and the snow is melting, it is a bit powerful, white brownish, but in winter when it's cooler, then it is just blue or very clear blue. Graham, we're going to park here on the first parking. We're going to stop for 45 minutes here by the waterfall, and I mentioned we got delayed 30 minutes, so we will be back 3:30. But now it is 12 o'clock. We are going to park on this side of the waterfall for 20 minutes, and on the other side of the waterfall for 25 minutes. So we're going to leave from here. Those who want to walk towards the waterfall, get a ride to the other sides. We're going to leave here 12:20 approximately, 12:25 let's say, because it will take us 3 minutes at least to get out. So let's say we're going to leave from the other side at 12:50, 12:25 from here. And there is a black building here on the left where there's a bathroom, souvenir shop and a coffee house. And it's very convenient to walk along the river for those who are good with walking and meet us there. But those who are not as good with walking, they can join the bus across. You can leave everything you want on the bus. 12:50 on the other side and 12:25 from here. Those who want to join.
How long is the walk? Excuse me.
Yeah.
How long is the walk over there?
You can see the spray from the waterfall there, and then it's just along here, so 10 minutes easy walk.
Yeah, I think a jacket is a good idea actually. There is no
Hello, where are you? Where are you?
First stop.
Got a pause.
Is this go the port?
Yes.
Vamos uma vez.